Hello, mate. Oh, I can't hear you. Why can't I hear you? How did I fix that last time? You got me? Oh, I'm just going to make sure your sound's not coming through for some reason. Why is that? Da, 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 da. Yeah. Okay. Oh, we're done. We're about to go on because the game's about to start. So I'm just trying to work out. It doesn't look like. Let's do this. There's audio properties. Media source active. There we go. Monitor and output. You want to talk to me, mate?
Yeah.
No, it's still not coming out. Why is it not coming out? Fuck's sake. This is why I was trying to get on early so that we could sort this stuff. Oh. No, that's echoing now. Fuck. 1, 2, 3. No. Yeah, just hang on, mate. Trying to think how I solved this last time. Fuck's sake.
Sorry, guys, I was messing around trying to get a little prepared.
Yeah, no, I understand. Probably should have just done a test run earlier.
One day.
Yeah, hang on. There's a real bad echo. What the fuck's happening there? Oh, that's why. Okay. Media source. That's audio properties.
Is it my? Is it
No, it's just feeding through. Just hang on. There we go. That sounds like it solved it, but I don't think yours is coming through onto the thing. So just give me a sec while I try it. I'm going to switch this onto live.
You're right.
And down to here. Hello and welcome to another Chris McPherson show. Live coverage of the NBL action. This is South East Melbourne Phoenix taking on the Illawarra Hawks tonight. I'm joined by Nathan Campbell. Campbell, how are we?
I'm good. Ready for a cracking game, hopefully.
All set, just about to go for tip off. South East Melbourne Phoenix taking on. Just doing a couple of last little testing moments. Joined by Nathan Campbell. Campbell, how are we? Good. All right, our sound's all working. We're away here. And Illawarra with the first possession. Well, all this one's getting underway, Cambo. Bryce Cotton doing Bryce Cotton things in that first game tonight, putting on an absolute clinic, another half century, 53 out of 91 points for the 36ers.
You can't keep him quiet for more than 2 games in a row. I'll give you the hot tip, and he's bounced back in a massive way.
Yeah, he's, as you say, he doesn't have too many quiet games. The second time he's racked up a half century. I think they're saying his top 4 scores have all come in the last 12 months.
Yeah, well, and to put it into perspective for anyone that doesn't really understand the difference between the NBA and NBL, NBA is obviously longer quarters. So for Bryce to rack up that many points in a shortest period of time to an NBA game is pretty impressive.
It sure is. He's just, it didn't seem to matter what they did, and then they're leaving lanes for him, which I thought was quite interesting. But Cairns did their best to almost come back and grab it. There was some interesting scenes at the end. We had Andrew Andrews ejected from the game after 2 tech fouls, which was interesting. The second one came out of a blow up where he friendly fire took out Admiral Schofield as well, which was Schofield was blowing up. He wanted a foul, and he'd been taken out by his own teammate.
Oh, mate, I don't know what we have to do, but we got to wrap the imports up in cotton wool because at the moment they're all falling down like bowling pins.
They certainly are. Speaking of imports, here we go. Illawarra get their first points.
It will be interesting to see how the officials, whether they bounce back or overreact to Coach Tatum's press conference last week saying that Yavale McGee needs to be protected a bit more. He feels like he's getting beaten up a bit and the refs aren't looking after him. So it'll be interesting to see tonight how they respond.
Yeah, it's always interesting, isn't it? Like, I don't know. I've got a view. I get you've got to protect them, but they can't get like specifically special treatment. Really, like it's just one of those things, isn't it? I mean, if blokes are going after them, targeting them, and I know there was some thoughts that McGee's legs were targeted. I don't think he should be getting special treatment, but they should be looking after any player that's having their legs taken out from them when they're trying to get up the bucket.
Well, yeah, and I mean, this is I know this could be controversial, but he's always been a role player. He's never been the focal point before. So, maybe in the NBA, if he was like one of those standouts that they were double teaming or, really having to bang up a bit, he would have copped it. But now he's starting to really cop some attention. Maybe he's feeling it a bit more.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, right? Like, if that's we don't want to see these guys taken out as Hunter with a bomb. We don't want to see these guys having their, being taken out or being targeted just to try and shut them down. Like the reason these clubs are bringing them here is one to win games, but two to get bums on seats, right? So it is about what we want to see. It's how I want to see these games playing out. I want to see the big names doing the big shows, putting on the big clinics, putting on points, showing us their magic. So if players are
Yeah.
doing things to stop that illegally, then yeah, it should be absolutely nipped in the bud. And maybe they need to go down that route. If you're starting to do that, cynical, dangerous play, then start rubbing blokes out for a couple of games at a time.
Yeah, and to be fair, I mean, he's 7 foot something. Like, he's a big man. It's pretty easy to get tangled up in those giant legs.
Yeah, as I say, mate, neither you nor I are small blokes, but his legs would go most of the way to our shoulders. So he's a big boy.
Oh, no. Jordan Hunter. The heat check.
Yeah, that's the problem when big boys who aren't 3-point shooters manage to get one early. Oh, there you go. McGee just does it all himself.
Clean up. He'll eat dinner and clean up the scraps.
Yeah.
Sabi, who celebrated his 300th NBL game the other day, which is quite impressive. Big feat.
Yeah, Phoenix going to need something from him tonight, I think. Especially if McGee starts to warm up. It's an interesting game. I feel like every game at the moment's got some sort of narrative to it. There's teams that are, really scrapping. Like South East Melbourne, we've seen some really good pieces from them, but probably haven't seen enough of them. Illawarra obviously need to start winning. They've had some drama. They got rid of McLaughlin. They're without a key player as well.
Well, you
Every game really has a bit of narrative to it, doesn't it? I mean, obviously the last game, it's that Bryce Cotton sole hand continuing for Adelaide thrown into Cairns and McVeigh's injury, which he's been trying to play through, which I think was fairly apparent to most people that watch a bit of basketball.
Well, realistically, Macca, it's a weird. This season's very weird. We started off the season as one of the most exciting seasons with like these imports that we thought were almost going to be the pick of the crop over the last 5 years, and then all of a sudden at this stage, barring a few sides, e.g. Melbourne and a few others, where we've got sides that are still looking for imports and looking to fill out their roster. Like this first little bit where every team's stuttering just sort of feels like we haven't even really kicked into gear with the competition yet.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. Obviously, the longer the comp gets too, the more leeway you've got to sort of find your way. As McGee just manhandles Geordie Hunter. That's what he can do, right? Yeah, it's interesting. Like if you're a team at the
Well,
moment
another.
that's had a really slow start, I use Sydney as an example. There you go. Geordie Hunter's called your bluff on the heat check. Then like Sydney aren't at panic stations yet, but you and I were talking about it the other day after their loss in the Ignite Cup midweek. It can't be too far away if the wins don't start coming. So you've got a bit of leeway, but they're one that's got an open import spot, right?
Yeah, they do. It's just more about cap room and this and that. But yeah, it's very interesting. You got like teams that click at the back end, but I mean Melbourne can Melbourne be stopped? Like Melbourne, you'd assume their roster will just stay consistent and they'll just keep ticking along and, they'll end up in a playoff spot. So these other teams, really, the quicker they can sort it out, the better.
Yeah, 100%. I guess that the interesting thing there is that you're going to have the play-in spot. So realistically, like if you get the even fifth, you're half a chance. I know you got to play, extra elimination basketball, but if we say Melbourne's, charging towards first at the moment from what we've seen, and it is a long season, let's be fair, then you just really want to finish, you know, one of those spots that either doesn't play them or you just play from play in and back yourself. Like it's
Yeah, so I mean, even so, you talk about the import conversation. I mean, you do due diligence, but you had Mason. Was it Mason Jones for Perth? I mean, he was G League MVP. Like I said, you couldn't get more credentialed than that, and just hasn't worked out.
yeah, I think a bit of a I don't know. Is it a bit of a different style of basketball here? I mean, it's not that drastically different, but he just hasn't clicked. And the other thing is too, sometimes it's about the unit you're in, right? Like some players, we've seen, mate, Jalen Adams was an MVP under Chase Buford. Every other coach he's played for since in the NBL, he's looked like exactly what he is at the moment, an impact player off the bench.
Well, yeah, I mean, as the great man Corey Homicide Williams said, bless his soul, he said it's not a cupcake league. Like you've got to scrap. And I mean, as we've shown in the preseason, we're up there with EuroLeague. Well, not obviously EuroLeague have more imports and probably little bit more quality, but we're up there for sure.
Yeah, it is, and that's the thing, right? As you say, they've got some more imports with the standard of play. You've only got to see Dash put down that decent showing, and all of a sudden against New Orleans, and all of a sudden now, good scouts are talking about that's probably lifted him from 8, 9, 10 to 4, 5, 6 in terms of the draft projections now, right? So these people are taking it seriously. Zion had a chat with him after the game allegedly, and sort of made a bit of a conversation around, mate. Well, I'll be seeing you again soon. That's a nice move from the Hawks.
That was lovely. From Jonah Bolden, throwing it back to his 76ers days. He's put the crypto in the back pocket and he's decided he wants to play basketball this year.
Well, that's what Hawks fans would like to see. They need something from a few of these guys. Just hasn't quite clicked for them.
Mate, you talk about a front court of JaVale McGee and Jonah Bolden, really, on paper, that's pretty impressive if they can make it click. With Sam Frawley to come back, mind you, if he comes back this year.
Yeah, well, it's always an if, isn't it? Like the whole Dave O'Hickey thing rolling around as well in the background as well. So I seen recently, like he's lost sight or part sight in one of his eyes.
Yeah, it was a bit of a funky one. So hopefully he gets back.
Yeah, tough.
But then
I couldn't play NBL with two good eyes. So I don't know, 1.5. Oh, that's off the foot. Oh,
tell you what, I don't know what his status is, but if it is a Bryce Cotton situation, Tyler Harvey's been here for a few years. Illawarra the future might look bright if he then decides he wants citizenship or whatever, similar to how Bryce does, and it frees up a spot. He could be a long-term player.
yeah, look, I wouldn't be at panic stages of an Illawarra fan, but as I said before, when you're sitting there looking at these competition and some of those, top couple of sides are starting to, they're not running away, but Melbourne are certainly getting a little bit, further away from the teams than you might like, then there's going to be a point soon where you're going to start realising that, even for those playing games, well, that's a bomb, is going to be a situation of, well, where does that leave us? Remember, South East Melbourne themselves started last year. They looked like they couldn't beat time of the stick at the start of last season. They were worse than any of the teams that we've seen this year.
Yeah, well, I mean, you look across the league, you've got some great coaches. You really do. But I think, I don't know, the last few years we've gotten, with the balance of each roster, we've gotten away from your one-man ISO ball. So with the exception of Bryce, I mean, you've seen Kendrick Davis go to Sydney and Jalen Adams go to Brisbane, and no longer are they, carrying teams with 30, 40 points. They have to play a part, and they're just not finding that right contribution just yet.
Angus Glover's heat checking. There's the 3-point shooter from South East early tonight.
Well, they're on. If you're on, you're on. That's a big thing.
Yeah, on that piece around like teams and stuff, like you have a look at it, and you've got Brisbane, New Zealand, and Cairns. They've all played quite a few games. They're 2 and 5. So yes, they've got a few losses piling up, but we've got 6 teams at the moment on 2 wins. The Kings, the Phoenix, and the Hawks are all 2 and 3. Then you go up to the Jackies are 4 and 3. They're sitting in a decent position. Then Wildcats, sorry, Phoenix are 3 and 2 at the moment, allowing this live result. So, like this result, if Phoenix win, they could be sitting third at the end of the round. If they lose, they could be sitting seventh at the end of
Yeah,
the night. Sorry, so yeah, it's definitely not panic stations just yet. But as I said, if you string together 2 or 3 losses from here, if you're a Illawarra, all of a sudden Illawarra, could finish tonight at 1 and 4. Get a couple more losses, all of a sudden you're 1 and 6, 1 and 7. It's a long way home from there.
well, yeah, especially if you look at South East Melbourne at the moment. Like it's in, they lost Vince Bleisenberg early, who was supposed to be one of their top imports, and they've to retool coming into the year without that sort of main, like what your focal point was going to be in the preseason. If you can keep with it before you add some more pieces, all they have to do is stay with the pack. And with the NBA preseason on now, and players will be cut from rosters or shifted around, it's actually probably not a bad time for rosters to need those players.
Yeah, you're right, and I think that's probably why we've seen a couple of these teams make moves to let imports go who aren't working out. And I was listening to one of the NBL podcasts this week, and they were talking about, should Brisbane let Adams go to clear up a spot? I don't know that I would, and I think they're of the same sort of mindset. But it's certainly been a bit of a clearing house, hasn't it? Between injuries
Yeah,
and just separation. Oh, that's a nice steal. Takes it the bucket too.
I feel like out of everything this season, I think we're a bit light on our next stars program. So besides Dash, Malik Lewis is there, but I don't think Sydney. Don't quote me on it. I don't think Sydney's got a next star. There's a few teams. We were a few years ago. We were loaded with next stars, like right through Cairns to um, right down to the bottom. But now I feel like we're a bit light on this year.
Yeah, it does feel a bit lighter. I'm trying to have a run through now.
I don't know if up at Cairns, Alex Tishka, Alex Tish, the young fella at Cairns who goes all right, but I don't know if he's sort of like draft board stock sort of type next star. But
Yeah, it's an interesting one, but yeah, Dash definitely headlining them.
I mean, Dash is actually shooting pretty well this year too, which going into the NBA, Dyson was a bit patchy. So I
Obviously,
actually I've heard a few people say that Dash could be a better prospect. So that's a pretty big call. Seeing how Dyson is in the standings these days.
yeah, I think Dyson probably not exceeded what a lot of people, but he's pushing towards his ceiling, which is right. That's the thing with draft prospects. How many, more often than not, they don't get towards the ceiling, whereas he has, probably exceeded realistically what many would have expected. Karim Lopez is the other one that I was trying to think of before
Oh
over
yeah,
at New
yeah,
Zealand.
true.
What was that?
It really just depends on whether him and especially Malik Lewis can is that Glover's second back to back? Um, whether they on behind, whether they can make that leap really.
Yeah, it certainly is. So, yeah, it's always the big question, right? What are you going to get out of your draft prospect? But let's just take a bit of a check while we come out of that timeout. South East Melbourne 50% from 3 point. They're taking 12 3 point shots in 8 minutes. They're not mucking about. They've only had 19 shots in total, so they're 3 from 7 inside the paint and 6 from 12 outside it.
Oh, there we go. Tyler Harvey warming up. See,
So,
Tyler Harvey's another one who Illawarra can really live or die by his shot, really. But if Tyler Harvey's contributing like 20 plus points, Illawarra in a good spot, but it's not consistent.
yeah, with he's contributing 20, right? Like McGee's probably putting up 20 plus numbers, so you're all of a sudden you're halfway to the job done, right? You get your other contributors all in the low to mid single digits. Maybe someone else hits 10 and you win more games than you lose. Whereas at the moment, JaVale's been playing a lone hand as he tries to rebound his own ball.
Oh, here's another one.
That Glover 3 from 3.
Actually, 3 from 3.
Big Ginger. Bang him down. The other
What?
next star's Noah. That's over at Perth as well. We've not seen a lot of him yet.
Yeah.
Again,
What
I
do
think
you?
he's probably lower prospect if he's prospect at all. But
Mind you, Perth last year had Almanza, and he ended up getting taken in the top 30, like round one. So he didn't get too much exposure over at Perth, but still found himself in the draft.
yeah, it's been a good class the last couple of years. We've been lucky to have that. But I'll tell you what, I know we talked on our last stream as we go to quarter time at 30 to 23. The 3 point range of South East Melbourne just dominating. We'll run through some scorers in a sec, but we were talking about this the other day in terms of getting to games. Like, it's absolutely cracking experience. But I tell you what, if you can get to any game, but if you can get to a Melbourne United game, home or away this year, it's a bit like when Ball was here and everyone just needed to go. I mean, I trekked down to Illawarra for one of those games, watch them play the Snakes actually. Yeah, I'd be do whatever you can to go and watch because yeah, as you said before, if Dash Daniels is close to as good, if not better than his brother, you could get a chance to go and watch in person a guy who's going to go on to have a 10 to 15 year career in the NBA.
Yeah, and also along with that, Milton Doyle's. He's been a very polarising figure on this stream, but I will say he's probably worth the price of admission these days.
Oh, that Melbourne United team, just in general, right? Like they're absolutely stacked with what they've got. Like it's like the competition's great this year. I think a lot of teams are better than we think, but Melbourne are just that much better at the moment. I mean, I know New Orleans rotated through players. It was an exhibition game, but they did reasonably well against them. You only had to look at the difference between how they went against New Orleans versus how Southeast went against New Orleans, and yeah, it was. They're a good basketball squad.
I think we've also whether I'm sure that the true Aussie basketball fans would appreciate it, but we've also been blessed with some really, really good coaches, consistent coaches over the years. Like Dean Vickerman is one of the best to ever do it. Scott Roth, even when Chase Buford was here, and who was the old Perth coach who's now moved on?
I can see his
His
face. I know who
name
you're talking about.
escapes me. Yeah, but he won titles on titles. Even Gorge. Gorge has got an absolutely brilliant resume. Like, we've just been fortunate that we've had these sort of generational coaches that have come through that can just get the best out of the squads.
Yeah, Trevor Gleeson is the man you're looking for.
Trevor Gleeson, who I think he went over to, he did a little bit in the NBA and then was over in the K League, maybe.
Yeah, that sounds right. 5 time champion. He's in the B League now with Chiba,
B
but yeah,
League.
he was an assistant with Milwaukee and Toronto after his time with Perth, and yeah, he'd been at Melbourne before that. He did the K League prior to he's an assistant there prior to his first gig as a head coach at Townsville. But this is a guy that's been coaching since 1990 and started in the NBL as an assistant in 1997, and then went over to
Jeez.
the G League equivalent, in 2000. So he's been everywhere. Somehow has only been the NBL coach of the year twice, which is quite phenomenal.
Do you reckon it's voter fatigue because you've had a Bryce Cotton in that side that you could just do you need a coach?
Yeah, 100%, 100% it is as we get back underway for the second quarter. What about I know Dunny who jumps on here with us. That's just Val McGee just turns him inside out and takes it too. He's a blasphemous man in Australian basketball circles because he likes to tear shreds off Gazy from his old days as a fan when his sides were coming up against the Tigers back in the day. But how good's that seeing Gazy sign on as the NBL one coach for the Melbourne Tigers for next year in the NBL one South?
Oh, it's massive. Imagine if you're a young bloke making his debut in the NBL one, and Andrew Gaze as your coach.
I just imagine being a kid going and watching the NBL one South and just mate, you just be getting down there just to get a bit of a sighting of the great man. Like it's a 2 horse race as far as I understand it. Again, I won't profess to be an expert on the 80s and 90s of the NBL. I started watching it in the 90s, but it's a 2 horse race from everything I can see statistically and footage I've seen in terms of the best ever players to take the court in the NBL. One of them was out there tonight putting up 50, and the other one's Drewy, aka Andrew Gaze.
Yeah, I feel like the younger generation don't quite wouldn't quite know what he actually had to offer. He's a bit of a just a nice bloke on like now these days in his pundit role, but you watch him on the court, mate. He could shoot, he could move, he was a competitor, all of the above.
Mate, he seems like a bit of a weirdo sometimes when he gets on, like when he especially gets on the AFL stuff, right?
Yeah.
You just play the full quid, like yeah. So as you say, like this is a guy that went and played for the Spurs. He was one of the he and Hammer were the early trendsetters really that started what is now a frequently trotted path, but by Australians, right? So he won an NBA championship in 1999. He's won the
He's
NBL, I
all,
think 7 MVPs in the NBL, maybe.
he's
Like,
almost like your granddad who's got a sneaky good jump shot, and one day someone goes, your granddad was one of the goats. You go, really? And you wouldn't have a clue.
yeah. And I was having this exact conversation with someone last year at the Newcastle Falcons in the NBL One East, and talking about the fact I had the great pleasure of spoken to you and Dunny about of calling games with Butch Hayes, and these kids see Butch now. He's 60 odd. He's still wandering around in the Monday night social leagues, and they're like, oh, he's pretty good for like an older guy. And I'm like, first of all, do you realize how old he is? Second of all, like this is a guy who got drafted by Chicago in the same rookie class as Michael Jordan. I'm not suggesting he's anywhere near Michael Jordan, but to be in the same rookie class is his rookie roommate. Imagine being Michael Jordan's roommate and then looking at what career he went on to have.
Yeah,
And to Butcher's credit, he played 260 odd games in the NBL, which while the NBL probably wasn't quite on the standard it is now, it's still 260 games in those eras of the travel and things that they would have gone through, grinding it, mate, and he's still playing basketball. 35 years later.
hand checking, the physicality. Yeah, it's
Yeah, yeah, one of the great men, Butch Hayes. And
you want to
tell
talk.
you what, if we get a few more imports that hang around like he has, I mean, Gorge is another one of those, right? So
Well, you talk about unassuming Aussies. You've just got to look at the giant 7 foot gentle giant Luke Longley, mate. You bumped him into him in the street. You honestly wouldn't pick it.
yeah, 100%. The thing I love with some of those guys like Butch and Gorge and these sorts of guys that came over here to play, you know, in the 70s and 80s, and they're still here and they just came over, they just loved it. And, that was back in the days. I think, if memory serves right, like Gorge came out here, played with Melbourne Tigers, he was living in the gym, like with the Gazers, like, so Lindsay, and, like Andrew Gazer's dad, right? Like, so it's just wild the stories of what, even now NBL players don't have it as good as some of our sporting stars, right, in Australia. We understand that. But yeah, to think that he was basically living in the back of the gym and coaching school basketball clinics to help make money and basically pay for his own wage. It's quite a story, quite a different era.
I actually love how our top level Aussies in the NBL come back and play NBL one now.
Yeah,
As in, you talk about like bringing the rest of the quality of the comp up. Like you just like if you're a young bloke and you're coming up against Nathan Sobey playing NBL one, it's got to be a bit surreal, doesn't it?
mate. What about in the women's, mate? You play in the NBL One East for the last few years. I don't think she's going around now, but you go to Albury Wodonga to take on the Bandits, and not only did they have the last 2 years, they had Unique Thompson, the importers just signed the Sydney Flames, who was just putting up absolutely huge numbers. But you go to the Lauren Jackson Basketball Centre to play against Lauren Jackson. Like,
Oh, mate, you just pack up and go home, wouldn't you? You're like, there's no way I'm getting in the paint there.
yeah, mate. And I tell you what, the standard of some of those games, but yeah, you're right. Some of the players you get to go and see. I remember Shiloh Hill coming with the Sydney Comets a couple of years ago and just absolutely obliterating Newcastle in a semi final that I was commentating. And yeah, wild times to see some of these players getting around. And even some of the players who aren't quite playing NBL, like Unique's a great example. She's second year in the NBL One East, and now she's gone and signed with the Flames. And I tell you what, the WNBL got underway today too. Speaking of basketball, and it's going to go to another level this year now that it's partnered. It's been taken over essentially in the majority by the NBL, and it's run in conjunction and all those sorts of things. That some of the names that have signed and different things are looking really exciting. I'm certainly pretty pumped. As I said, the first game was earlier today. Canberra getting a win, which is good to see them getting a little bit stronger. The Capitals, because they've been a little bit of a whipping side in the last couple of years, but yeah, Unique Thompson's one to watch there, and we've got a lot of these Aussie girls who just won the Asian Cup, and you got Han Zhu as well, 6'11", coming out from China once she's finished with the national team duties to play for Perth. That's a big lady.
Mate, dude, she could have been a swimmer, I reckon.
Yeah, I think she's so the Chinese women's basketball. I think she's got been back-to-back MVP over there the last 2 years. So she won a silver medal in the World Cup when China won it here in Sydney. Was that 2022? So mate, she's not mucking about. Perth are going to be a red hot side.
Well, for any of our Newcastle listeners, we do, once this basketball stadium, if and when it gets built, we will have the capacity to have a WNBL license for the women's. Just not
Yeah,
the
and
men.
I know at one point that was when I was doing some stuff for the Falcons a couple of years ago. That was kind of their 5-year goal. The reality was that they didn't think that the demand was quite there at the moment to get behind an NBL team, which is kind of understandable. You'd love to think it happens, but you've only got to see the numbers that get behind the Jets and a few other teams at the moment with Newcastle franchises outside of the Knights. It doesn't quite move the needle as much. So, and at the end of the day, the dollars do the talking, right? So, but yeah, WNBL will be a great start. There's only, I'm pretty sure there's only the one New South Wales team at the moment off the top of my head. Yeah, there's obviously Canberra as well, but we need to get a basketball stadium. We saw the Kings, mate. They would have brought a game to Newcastle this year, one of the Ignite Cup games, but facility's not up to it. Last time they tried to come here, the game got washed out. Indoor sport getting washed out. Go figure that.
Well, that was a Boomers game, I'm pretty sure, wasn't it? There was a Boomers game where the floorboards were wet or something.
No, that was the Kings, because when Bogut had first signed with the Kings, and they sent him out to make the announcement, that is a massive air ball. You'll be better than that when you're down by 14, Illawarra.
Wow, and you got Glover on fire down the other end. Oof.
Hey, the ball movement from South East tonight, they are just absolutely ripping and tearing. 44-27-6 on the clock in the second quarter. Let's have a look at the numbers. I'll replay this on the live stream. So Glover's 11 points, 4 from 5 now. Including that one. No, it'll be 5 from 6 now, I think. Alright, stats just need to update. They're 11 from 20 outside.
Wow.
11 from 20 from outside, but 5 from 11 inside. So they're still shooting better outside the arc than they are inside. Yeah, Glover leading all on 14 points. Only player in double digits. 14 points in 5.5 minutes of court time.
I don't know if you just saw that statistic pop up then, courtesy of ESPN, but they shot 25% from three in their last game. And then today they're shooting, what did you say, about 50%. So
55, yeah. Meanwhile, the Hawks had 1 from 5 from outside the arc. The Hawks are having a shocking year from 3 points. But yeah, McGee leading them. So McGee leading with 12 points. Harvey with 9. No surprises. McGee with 4 rebounds. Blanchfield with 4 as well. Sweet FA. One assist so far across a quarter and a half for Illawarra. That's across the whole team.
Maybe there's just something in the air in New South Wales, because I'm pretty sure the Kings are in the same basket of not being able to hit water if they fell out of a boat from 3.
Yeah, it's maybe Delhi changing his jersey number will fix that.
Oh, yeah,
I knew that'd get you going.
I'm sure there's going to be some upset punters who spent big this early this year. I still don't know if it's a G-up. I don't know if it's like LeBron's decision number 2, which I don't know if you've seen. There's a punter in Cleveland that's actually suing LeBron because he bought tickets to one of the games because he thought it was going to be his retirement tour.
I was going to say only in America. Oh, Glover. Oh, my word. Mate, there'll be ladies queuing up for Ginger Men tonight. He is absolutely killing it.
Just don't put him out in an open air game.
Yeah, I'll be fine as long as it's after 9 p.m. Or you have one of those, you see those people out fishing and stuff, and they got the full thing, and all you can see is just, they got the full long sleeves and
just skins everywhere.
Yeah, mate, he is absolutely killing it. Oh, they just keep. As this game was tight just before, 22-point lead now for the Phoenix halfway through the second. They are potentially looking to rack up one of the biggest scores this season at this rate, and we've had some big scoring games.
Well, yeah, well, potentially it looks like we're getting to 60 at half time. Whether they can keep it up through the whole game, but we'll see. If the Ginger Ninja keeps firing away, we could be in for a big score.
Certainly could. He is absolutely firing, and Tatum is not happy, unsurprisingly.
I mean, I haven't been able to follow it, but they've kept Yvel McGee pretty quiet. So whether it's whatever the defensive scheme they've been running on him, they've done pretty well, South East
Yeah,
Melbourne,
Savvy with a
considering
bomb.
they.
He's getting in board. They bring up the half ton. So just going back through the games. Go back to the start. 116. The Hawks got 116 early in the season. Last week, I think. Break has got 117. 127. No, that was the Pelicans game. 117 might be the number to beat, I think.
What's your take, Racco? Obviously, the Bryce Cotton historical game, 52 points, but is it is it almost, I wouldn't say worrying signs, but you sort of riding are you riding on his back this year? As in, it's very ISO ball, very much just Bryce. If anything happens to Bryce, do you think Adelaide are in trouble or what?
Short answer, yes. I just, yeah, like DJ just hasn't quite been himself. Ice has shown some moments, but I just don't know that they've got someone that, you'd have to think they've got some sort of plan B, but I just don't know what it is. And I mean, while plan A is working, you keep going with it, right? But it's yeah, it is a little concerning, I think, and I think that'll be that's probably one of the few things that's holding them back when we have a look at our power rankings each week. That yeah, I know they've lost a game, but they are just
Teetering.
yeah, that's it. Like and touch wood because I don't want to see anything happen to Bryce because I could watch Bryce Cotton play basketball every night and at lunchtime too. Like if we can get him on for 2 games a day, just let him play for like just rotate him around all the teams. I'm all right with that.
Well, actually, you don't even have to go down the Bryce injury route. You can look at they actually copped a loss to Sydney the other week, and it was because they managed to keep. I think Bryce scored 2 points or something, wasn't it? Something stupid, something small. So, kind of shows when if he's not effective that yeah they don't have the firepower.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I'm just there's a couple of teams that are like that too. I mean, the Breakers, not that they're winning many games, but if PJC or Menanga get injured, they're in a whole lot of pain too. Brisbane are starting to show a bit more depth. Even Sydney, mate. If KD goes down, I just don't know what they do at the moment.
We see that's a tricky one with Sydney. Obviously, being a Sydney man, I think to be honest, not that I would want to lose KD, but it might balance the side out. We lack 3 point shooting. But KD is a similar, I say similar, not in the same breath, but similar to Bryce. You got to let him cook. He's a high usage player that needs to take a lot of shots to get his points. But then you've got Delhi, who's very much a ball handler. But if you don't have spot up shooters around Delhi and his shot's not falling, then I think that's where the Sydney attack's sort of stuttering at the moment. They don't have that ball handler that is going to tick up the scoreboard. Delhi's safe, don't get me wrong, and he'll run everything and he's solid as, but you still need someone who's damaging in that position.
Yeah, no, 100% agree. And it was always the question I had when KD signed there, right? Like you've got, especially when you have a look at, they've got a couple of bigs as well that like to have the ball in their hands. We've seen Timmy Suarez. I think he's played some good ball this year. I don't think we've seen the best of Xavier, to be honest. I'm not sure what it is, whether it's just the fact that, I mean, he probably ran a bit
More
more ball
cocaine. I
than
think more
his
coke. He
position
needs
normally
more
would
coke.
previously, but now that KD's taking more ball, he doesn't have that opportunity. Illawarra with a couple of threes back to back, starting to get back into it.
Yeah, well, if you look at Cooks, I mean, realistically, his 3 point shot, like I mean, he's been MVP, and I mean, his 3 point shot hasn't developed. So you're not really stretching the floor with Cooks at all. So
Yeah, I think the
I
other thing too is like right with Suarez getting a lot of work there. It takes away some of the work that Cooks would have done. Then some of his other ball handling because he's kind of that hybrid player, right? Then KD's needing more ball. Not sure what Javal was doing there. Did he find that with the back of his head?
I don't know. He's getting a bit frustrated, the big fella. John
He got
Friesen
out of the
really.
blocks pretty well tonight, and then they've quietened him down. Open three, and he's missed it, and McGee couldn't get the rebound. Yeah, things just not quite sticking for Illawarra. 60-35 late in the second. Yeah, I mean, he's up to 12 points, but I think he was at basically 12 at just early in his quarter, so hasn't really had much of a look in the last 7 minutes.
Yeah, they're 12 hard points too. I mean, Geordie Hunt is quite capable defender too, and so is Brown for Melbourne too. He's a bit of a bulldog.
It's a brick. Good rebounding. McGee didn't even try and get that defensive board then. He got away
I
with it
think
in the end, but
I think he's a bit frustrated and a bit tired. I mean, I'm 32 and I am very sore. I can't imagine what his 37-year-old body's like after pumping out that many minutes.
mate, I'm 38 and I had a game of rugby union on last Saturday night, and I'm still feeling it a week later. Definitely no danger
Well,
of a significant comeback of any sort, but yeah,
is there jet lag involved in that? Can we claim jet lag or?
yeah. Oh, mate, I did get shipped from Darwin to Adelaide to Newcastle just as about to land. Then I had to go via Brisbane. They diverted us to Brisbane, so 8 and a bit hours on plane. So yeah, we'll certainly blame that. But it wasn't a great feeling when I got off at Adelaide and I was walking up the ramp there into the terminal, and a lady who I reckon she was about 70 in the shade like overtook me. So
Imagine how Bryce Cotton felt getting off that plane. What have I done?
yeah, oh, Bryce Cotton's. I reckon he's enjoying life now. You're talking
Big
to
felt.
before we're talking about like players come back to the NBL one. The man I want to see in an NBL one side next year is Kuat Noi back in his hometown in Newcastle. How good would that be?
It'd be a bit of an injection, wouldn't it? Like, as in, for young blokes and stuff, yeah, it'd be awesome to see him. He
I,
proudly reps Newey, but
yeah, I understand they did try and get him this year, but it just didn't work. Like, because again, limited schedule. But mate, you take him for 2 or 3 games even. So I mean, the women's side at the Falcons, I think she's the 3-time reigning MVP, Nicole Munger, who's playing. I think she's at the Capitals this year again.
yep.
And she is a weapon. Absolute player, up there with calling with Butch. Two of the great pleasures of the couple of seasons I spent there were calling Nicole. Yeah, she was just did everything herself. Just one of those players that just take a team on her shoulders when things weren't going right.
I think the women's WNBL. Oh no, mate, Glover can't miss. The women's WNBL really have a chance in Australia because I think the WNBA is not stuttered a bit, but they've got some big issues to work out over there. As in, it's not exactly it's still the pinnacle, but it's not.
From WNBA to WNBL is minor, not what it is from NBA to NBL, right? Like, and the other
Yeah,
thing is
correct.
because
Yeah.
it's the opposite season, you get a lot of players that'll play both at the moment. Again, one because the money's a bit lower, so they need to make the most of it. But which I think's great. You get basically if you're top tier here in the NBL, you might go over there and you might play a season WNBA, then you play half a season here. A few of the others play NBL one. A few of them play AFLW as well, which is interesting.
I have seen that. It'd be interesting to see if we can get some across to the NRLW. See how that looks.
Yeah,
Oh
well,
my gosh,
crossover. Oh, can we see if we can hit some from on the other side of halfway?
66 at the half.
Yeah, well, they only need 52 points in the second half and I mean the first half's not done yet, right? So it is absolutely raining threes from the hands of Angus Glover tonight. Hurts, especially when you know that he used to be at the Kings.
Mate, you talk about Angus Glover's career. I think he's either had 2 or 3 ACL reconstructions, mate, and then come back, win a few championships with the Kings, and now he's obviously a crucial part of the South East Melbourne side. It's really a good story.
Certainly his ball's gone to the line. Trying and carve back at some of the massive 28-point margin. So Glover has 23 points and he's 7 from 8 from 3.
Oh my gosh.
And 8 from 9. He's 8 from 9 shooting overall, 89%. Them some
He's
big
not even
numbers,
just
Cambo.
it's not even hitting hope, but he's actually they've worked him some good open shots too. So
Yeah, there's been plenty of open shots, and we've got a 5 second differential here coming down to the half-time break. South East Melbourne lead by 28. They were looking
oh,
to try and
bad
get Glover
turnover
free, but
there.
he was shut down. Missed shot, 5 on the clock. Illawarra will try and go. They turn it over, but we're going to have a backcourt violation. Daniel Foster just grabbed that as it went towards half court and stepped over. So the Hawks will have 2.7 seconds to try and get to 40, which realistically 40 is not a bad score. The only problem with the scoreboard for them is they've let in 66.
Well, yes.
Oh,
38's a quite half in NBL standards, but
what's that? 38? Yeah.
yeah.
We've had a few 80 sort of score lines though. So I mean, if it's 44-40 or 44-38, you're not panic stations. Oh, there you go. McGee's been cleaned up there. That's going to be a foul. Yeah. Let's just have a quick run through as we're going into the half at the moment. Sobey with 11 points. Angus Glover with 23. Maldonado with 9. And leading the rebounds is Geordie Hunter with 5. Not much in the way of assists. Maldonado also is leading that actually with 5. A few with 3. And then for Illawarra, Harvey with 14 has gotten a bit warmer in the second quarter. McGee with 13. McGee 5 rebounds. Blanchfield and Peatling 4 rebounds. As McGee makes that another point.
So
And
it's
again,
been
just 3 assists from Illawarra. What about this? Tyler Harvey, 5 turnovers.
yeah.
You
He's
can't be doing
polarizing,
that.
Harvey. He's not. He just can't be the man, can he?
No, you cannot. But that's concerning me. 3 assists in a half of basketball is, yeah, that's suggesting that things aren't working. Is that Maldonado just trying from just short of half court as the clock ticked down? It was. That means 66-40. It's absolutely in South East Melbourne's control here at half time, Cambo. Yeah, I think it looks like a lot of one out disconnected basketball from the Hawks, really. And then, you look at Angus Glover, can't miss from outside 3, and that's pretty much your narrative.
Well, I mean, you look back at the Hawks pre-season and how they built this roster. Um, Trey Kell obviously leaving, who was a massive part in that championship run last year, who could score, ball play, facilitate. Coming into this year, we obviously they invested in McLaughlin, but also Dave O'Hickey was given the keys to the car, which we all know Davo's style of play. So, it was always going to be a different style of basketball for the Hawks this year. That's whether this is where Tatum's coaching credentials are going to be put to the test, isn't it? Whether he can come up with a new game plan or get his boys to fit what he wants. But I guess we'll see.
Yeah, I think we will, mate. But yeah, plenty to take away from this. As I said before, in terms of live standings, this is a massive lead and result at the moment when you have a look at the Phoenix. Because this will lift them up to as we go behind Saturday Night Lights. They'll be up to third with a slightly better differential than the Wildcats. Both 3 and 2 on the season and sitting behind the runaway leaders in Melbourne and Adelaide. But for the Hawks, this is going to mean they're out and out last with just the 1 win. I said 2 before, but that was a misstep. 1 win from 5 games, and look, I just don't see how they turn this around in the second half. It's going to take something huge, and there's not a lot of bright shoots to look at, really.
I don't think so. I honestly think Macca will see if the gap stays like this. I think we'll see McGee get an early night, bit of a rest, and it'll be back to the drawing board for the next round.
It certainly will be. Of course, make sure if you haven't already, after the game tonight, check out our Power Rankings videos and subscribe to the YouTube channel down below. We'll bring you more of the watch-alongs as we head further through the season, and each week we'll have the Power Rankings videos too, which is an accumulation of myself, Cambo, and Dunny, just putting our thoughts together around what's happened in the round. And it's a big round this weekend, or this week. It goes back to the Ignite Cup. I think this is game 7 of the round, and there's still 2 more to come tomorrow. Melbourne versus New Zealand, and Sydney hosting the Wildcats. I'm still not sure who's setting the odds on these games. How are Sydney $1.38 favourites, Cambo?
I don't know. At home too. I mean, you've got one of the MVP favourites, Joel JLA. He's coming up against Timmy Suarez. Has got his work cut out, but we'll see. I mean, it's in Sydney.
I mean,
Maybe
the
the bookies
Wildcats
have.
did shit the bed at home against the Bullets the other night, didn't they? But then again, the Kings were pretty ordinary again. They only put 70 points up against the Jackies in at my state, so it's a big game for both teams. For Perth, it means they need that to make sure they sort of hold into those playoff spots, and for Sydney, they need to stay in touch with the play-in spots. So depending on some of these other results, so it's certainly going to be interesting. But we'll wait and see, my friend. We'll wait and see. Two big games. I said Melbourne looking to continue their winning run at JCA, and New Zealand, they're a roller coaster. I don't know how you tip some of these games. Like how anyone would have picked Brisbane to win against Perth over there. Yeah, Adelaide beating South East Melbourne. That's pretty predictable. New Zealand blowing out the Jackies over there as well. I didn't see that coming. I thought that'd be a tight game. So it's a weird one, isn't it?
Well, Brisbane have always had it in their bag. I mean, Casey Prather the last 2 years is he's just gone to the next level, and he's obviously dealt with a couple of injuries the last few weeks. And then Jalen Adams is capable of MVP level performances, and he just happened to pull 29 points out, 29 something like that points out of the bag the other night. So it really just depends. Like the comp's that tight, it depends on who turns up on the day.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, they had five in double digits the other night. Prather got 34. Harrison's been good as well. I feel like he played a bit of a sole hand in their early games, but I still find it funny that Perth parted ways with Mason Jones after he put up 19 points. So anyway,
We see Perth actually, I was very impressed with in a Nathan Cleary, Ivan Cleary type situation. Very impressed with young Riley coming off the bench. He's actually had some really sharp performances. So obviously they've got a little contingency plan, which is a good position to be in, being high up on the ladder, and you've let your star import go confidently. So they can bring in someone and not be rebuilding from the bottom. So I think Perth are in a good spot.
yeah, I think they are. They just need to find some W's while they settle it out. But as you said, Jerron really's been quite good, and it's always that nepotism call. Are you the Nathan and Ivan Cleary, to use the rugby league metaphor, or are you the Shane and Kyle Flanagan? So we'll wait and see. But Cambo, we might take a little 2 or 3 minute break here, grab some fresh beverages and snacks, and come back and have a bit of a yarn through the second half. Hey,
Sounds good.
all right, that's off. This is the scoreboard up on the YouTube now. So I'm gonna get a snack, mate. I'll be back in a couple of minutes. What's doing?
We're back.
Yeah, we're not streaming again yet. I just left the halftime score up for now. What else is happening?
Not much at all. Watched the Cook Islands 3G footy going today, and that was
Hang on a sec. What was that?
Cook Islands 3G game today. It was a bit rubbish.
No, how bad was the stream? Well, someone was filming it with Parkinson's.
Like when Samoa played country, remember that?
Geez, Kurt played well.
Well, Buller played well. They just, I don't know. Like, you watch those international games, decent game of footy. They literally, you couldn't tell me they were playing footy players. New South Wales Cup players, I wouldn't believe that. I didn't even know Sri Kanaka was out there. Why is it so bad?
Hang on. That sound's coming through for some reason. We're back for the second half, underway already. The Hawks have got off with the right start, at least Cambo. 3 points to get things rolling.
Yeah, but a foul to follow.
That's a rugby tackle. What's going on?
Was that on the big fella? No, yeah, no. So what do we got? The gap's 2023. You need a
23. Not
obviously they'll
ins-
have to.
not insurmountable, but geez, it'd be a big effort, wouldn't it?
Well, especially when Nathan Saby's just been put on the line to shoot three.
Yeah, that's a and realistically a soft foul roll. I didn't need to be given.
No, no, let him shoot that.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, like I mean, you weren't even putting pressure on his shot where he was. You're just putting hands in him. So Swakala Bullock got to be better than that. That one, Swakala Bullock has played 15 minutes for 0 points, 0 assists, 1 turnover, and 1 rebound, and 3 fouls.
Mate, that young fella sitting on the bench there, Johnny Narkle, I need to get him on. He was in my fantasy team, and that boy can play.
Yeah, they've got to try something. I don't know what Tatum's got. Second one goes. Yeah, he just does not look like a happy camper. Justin Tatum. 2 out of 3.
Like we said before, this is Tatum's litmus test. Like he's had a good roster last year, had a good run and stuff. Yeah. Oh, missed missed a couple of shots there from McGee and a foul.
Yeah,
Big fella's getting frustrated.
I'm not prepared to say if they have a bad year this year that Tatum's not still a good coach. It's just the jury's then out a bit more, isn't it? Like first year in, you had a really good roster and you got them to gel and work together. Yeah, so
I mean, yeah, it'd be interesting. I feel like he's got higher aspirations anyway. I assume I can't see Justin Tatum staying in the league for too long.
it's hard. It's hard to championship win into second last to try and sell that to the NBA or someone, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, if you go to the NBA as an assistant, maybe.
I did hear, I can't remember which team it was. Chase Buford was sniffing around a little bit at the start of this year. He would have been a handy coach to have back in the league.
Yeah, there's a bit of talk there. Where's he now? He's at Kansas, isn't he?
Is he?
I think that was the last I saw in that. So yeah, like he's gone back to.
I wonder. I'd love to know in the NBA whether it's obviously he's got some pedigree behind him, but whether it's harder for career coaches to get a gig than it is for former players that just seem to walk into assistant coaching positions.
Well, surely his dad's the CEO of the Spurs, isn't he?
Yeah.
Just get him a job, sort him out. What's a bit of nepotism? Bit of nepotism between friends.
Well, you see, I always thought the Spurs were going to be a generational team after Pop. That Becky Hammond, maybe the first female NBA coach, but I don't know where she's landed. But I think she ended up leaving to coach a WNBA side. But yeah, that's not where I saw that going.
Yeah, she's Las Vegas Aces, I think.
There you go. Yep. Which is funny, just touching on the WNBA. It's a very funny league. They're superstars, e.g., Caitlin Clark. I don't really support her there. It's very much tall poppy syndrome over there. It's a very polarizing type thing.
That's more Aussie sort of style, isn't it ironic? Because like the men's, they're very but yeah, they just want to get there and say, oh well, yeah, you're not LeBron, you're not this, you're not that, and it's like, well, it's a different thing, right? Like I think it's actually something we're really good with our women's sport. That's probably an advantage we've got over the Americans, as opposed to where the Americans have, like, if you've got loud, brash guys who want to talk it up, Harvey did well there. to draw that. If you've got loud, brash guys over in America, it's like, yeah, cool, cool, talk yourself up. Be as alpha as you want. Get out there and tell everyone how wonderful you are. Whereas here, if our men's players are doing that, it's like, oh, hang on, mate, you need to be brought into check.
Well, it's probably just not good for a developing league. It's all well and good to be established, like the NBA men's are. I mean, you talk, and you can dish it out. But for the women, I think you'd rather empower each other and put a good product on encourage each other to put a good product on the floor before you start rubbishing each other.
Yeah, it's interesting, but I also think that if you want to be treated like the men's game, you've got to be you've got to be happy to be treated like the men's game. They want to work towards parity and those sorts of things. There still needs to be an element of I don't believe in this just being positive. Like if someone has a bad game, you've still got to be able to address it. But just cutting people down because you feel like they're Caitlin Clark's making more money than everyone else. That's not right.
Nah, I think comments like if NBA 2K should make a standalone female game, just things like that are just you kind of scratch your head. It's like the more exposure you get, the more you can help each other out, the better. So I don't know. It's almost like 2 steps forward, 3 steps back to me.
That's what I was talking about before. The NBL and WNBL, like being same ownership, all that sort of stuff. I think it's only going to be a good thing.
Yeah,
bringing it all together, like even with the Ignite, the Wednesday night Ignite Cup, that's nice from ball. They're talking about that. They've got all these deals every Wednesday night during the games. If you jump onto the NBL website, and some of those are discounted WNBL tickets and stuff. And I'm like, that's great to see the crossover. And why not be fans of both? And at the end of the day, as you said before, the WNBL's not that far away from being the best women's league.
Oh, it would be very interesting to see what the comparison is. Obviously, we've just seen New Orleans Pelicans out play against the NBL sides. It'd be very interesting to see a WNBA side take on one of their top WNBL sides and see what the gap is.
I'd love to see it wouldn't really work because the seasons don't interlink, but like an All Stars WNBL versus WNBA.
Yeah, that would be good. I'm sure Lauren Jackson would come back out for that.
Yeah, I'm still waiting. She's like John Farnham, LJ, isn't she? And hey, when you've got I was going to say a rap sheet. That's not the right word. When you've got an honor roll that reads like Lauren Jackson's does, and I could start reading it now if I found it and read through it all, but it'd probably take us the rest of the match. But she's definitely the most notable Australian women's basketball player, if not the most notable Australian basketball player of all time. When she went first round back in 2001, went number 1 pick. For Seattle, and it's a phenomenal piece. I think she won 6 or 7 WNBL championships. She's won 7 WNBL, 2 WNBA, 4 WNBL MVPs, 3 WNBA MVPs. Like,
I feel like the Aussie girls over there are sort of sneakily underrated. Like, Jenny Screen doing it for a long time as well, and there's some great players. They're just not getting the exposure. They're not getting the Sam Kerr treatment.
No, they're not. Yeah, like you keep going through for LJ 5 Olympics, and when you think that she had 2 Olympics off in that period as well.
It's unbelievable, and still going now.
And 5 medals, 4 World Cup medals. I think this will make you feel very young, Cambo. She won a silver medal at the World Junior Championships in 1997.
I was a 10 to 5, age 5 then.
Yeah, I was 10, mate. So,
although she could have also been 10, she would have been 7 foot at that age too.
Yeah, she's she what 6'5", or I think they said they list her as. So
6'5", she's a tall. Talk about listing them at different heights. I heard a good interview in terms of NBA today. It was Boban Manjarovic talking about Wemby, and Wemby's listed as, I think it was 7'4", and Boban's supposed to be whatever he is, 7'3", and he said, "Mate, I look up to him. Like he's heaps bigger than that. And I reckon he's still growing."
Yeah, it's the same with any sport though, right? The NRL boys are the same. One year you'll see Junior Paulo listed at 125 kilos. The next year, it'll be in fashion to have mobile forwards and he'll be listed at 111. And it's like, there's no way he's 111.
I'm pretty sure Georgie Rose was always listed at 80. I'd like to see the scales on that
Yeah. Might have been a one missing off the front for big Georgie off the back fence.
one. Big gorgeous. So it looks like Illawarra have stemmed some of the bleeding, but just not
Yeah,
making
but
not
I
making
also wonder
enough
if South
leeway.
East Melbourne just kicked it back into third or fourth. Maldonado's going to try and do it all himself and then just gets manhandled by McGee. Oh, at this rate, JaVale, you're 100% right what you said earlier that JaVale's going to get to sit down early.
I don't know if it's going to be through his choosing or an accumulative of fouls,
So
but
that's
we'll
3 or 4
see.
for him.
I don't know, the big fella's racked up a couple.
He's definitely got 3.
Jonah Bolden's been pretty active tonight, which is good to see.
He has. That's 4 fouls for McGee.
Well, there you go.
I know we're not even halfway through the third, so
He's having an early shower regardless.
what are you doing if you tied him like the? Yeah, I mean he's obviously benched him now, but he's
I
played
don't know.
21 and a bit out. He's only had 2.5 minutes on the bench so far, but now he'll spend the rest of this quarter on the bench, you'd think.
I'll be very interested. I'll be an interesting spectator on Tatum's press conference to see if he. Oh, it's a massive block. To see if he brings up the protection of McGee and stuff again, but it is what it is.
It hasn't really been anything tonight. There was one on him and he got the foul called. So if he is, it's just misdirection, right?
Well, yeah, not so much as in a legal foul, but it's always going to be. He's always just going to cop, physicality because that's how you deal with someone his size.
Yeah, correct. And at the end of the day, people are gonna push a bit harder, put a bit extra effort in you. That's what happens when you're a 3-time NBA champion coming back and playing, or coming down to the NBL.
But I guess that's champion teams. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, if you potentially look at Adelaide, you double team Bryce. The idea is that DJ will punish you with the threes. Like you're supposed to be a sort of Swiss Army knife and have multiple faces. So how Tatum coaches around this will be very interesting.
Yeah, well, they're starting to find themselves in a bit of a hole now, and this doesn't seem to slow up. So,
Phoenix look like they're quite happy to go death by 1,000 cuts here. Get to the line, get their 3 points.
Josh King's like, right? Like he's just a grinding, hustling. He'll just be going, right. We just keep working on what we keep working on. If they want to dish up nonsense and end up with 4 of them sitting down, well, they can have 4 of them sitting down. Doesn't affect us.
Well, I can't remember. I think we were 24 points coming into the third quarter. Now we're at 30, so doesn't read for a pretty night.
No, it does not. What are we at the half? 66. No, it was 26 at the half. So yeah.
Well, considering Illawarra's form tonight, the people of Melbourne may be getting some free hungry jacks soon if they can't knock these down.
Well, I think it's everywhere, mate. So you can go and help yourself tomorrow. You just need the code word and the app or something. I think it is. I don't know. Technology
I
and
think
me
it's the
aren't exactly.
state. I think it's the state that the state of the home team gets the free burgers.
Yeah, right. I thought they changed it this year.
And it's only if the away team misses too. It's not if the
Yeah.
home team misses too.
So it's anyone. So he's got to download the free NBL app, watch the game. When the team misses the 2 free throws, you just need the code word. Then you put the code in the NBL app before 6 p.m. the next day. Then you can head to Hungry Jack's and get your free cheeseburger.
Oh, how good's that?
I like free stuff. And if people tune in here, we will tell them the code word if they're not watching the game. If you don't have KO, that's how good we are here, Cambo.
Well, mate, we're doing it for the people, aren't we?
Right, we are doing it for people. Look, if we could find a way to find a loophole and get everyone that tunes in free cheeseburgers, we'd do that too.
Oh, Illawarra can't buy a basket at the moment.
As Melbourne is playing smart, settling mostly zone. Like it's not, yeah. But like sport just seems easy when when you're winning by this much and things are falling your way, right? Like just those extra,
Oh,
geez, like just that, like the ball bouncing up, Maldonado gets it away.
ooh, that's not a great look from Lewis there.
Nah, I should have made a better fist of that, but I
What
don't
do
know.
Illawarra have on the schedule, Macca? They got another one this weekend, or is this they got a bit of a time
No, they won't
difference
have any
of
more this
what they've
weekend
done?
because it's only the two games tomorrow. They're not back on until next week. Let's have a run through next week while this is going. The Ignite game is Cairns Perth, which could be a really interesting one, especially if Perth drop that game to Sydney. Then we go Thursday night,
Who's
which
who's the home team on that one, Macca?
that's up at Cairns.
Well, that's one of the longest trips in the comp. That'll be interesting.
It will be. Let's see how this plays out. Nothing again for the Hawks. Thursday night we've got the Breakers and the Bullets. It's an early game, so we might have a look. That might be a game that I can do, depending on yours and Dunny's availability. We'll have a look. Friday night, the Phoenix play the Kings. Saturday, the Taipans play Melbourne United. Is that Saturday? Have I got the right days here? I don't know that I do. Hang on. 22nd. Oh, geez, that's a terrible shot too. What are they doing, Laura? Let me double check my days here. The 22nd is Wednesday, so yeah, Saturday is the 25th, so that was Saturday. That's where we're up to. Saturday, Brisbane play South East Melbourne. Perth play Illawarra Saturday night. So they got a full
Yeah,
full full week to get over to Perth. Meanwhile, Perth are going to play Sydney. I can't imagine they're going. Oh, well, actually, they probably will go home because that's 6 days in between. So Perth are going to be over to the East Coast. They'll be over in Sydney now. Then they're going to go home. Then they're going to go to Cairns. Play Cairns on Wednesday night. Get back home. So I tell you what, it's a big game for Illawarra. Big game next weekend too. Melbourne v Adelaide.
that will be a massive game.
And I am devastated. My work we get a corporate box for a few games a year, and that is one of them. And I did not get a call up for that one.
Oh, spewing. No,
Bryce,
no chance of a eighth man, like start or what?
no, mate, there won't be. I've been allocated. I've got the Melbourne Sydney game in December.
Ah,
So
beautiful.
I'm not mad about that. It was given to me with forethought. So
It could be a top of the table clash, or it could be a
it could be first, second, last.
it could be.
Hey, Christmas Day game. I've got tickets for that. That could be last, first, second, last. The way things are going.
Who's the Christmas Day? Sydney versus.
Illawarra
Oh no.
battle for this might be Spoon Bowl.
All right, close the Mooney Bridge. Don't worry about it. No F3. What is it? F1 Derby.
Mooney Bridge is in the wrong direction, mate. That's north of Sydney. Telling you to stop me getting there.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I'll live with that. Oh,
They're just hitting and having here, Illawarra.
I don't know if we can put some Benny Hill music with the stream, but that's how it feels like at the moment.
They look lost without McGee. Like Bolden's got to just get hold of this, doesn't he? Like that's their only hope. Bolden and Harvey just need to grab this by the balls.
Harvey looks like he's fresh out of college. Harvey just wandering around there. If someone of his pedigree and you know how he can play, you'd just be commanding the ball. You go, righto, boys, get on my back.
The only good thing at the moment is South East Melbourne aren't playing much better. There we go, Jonah. That's better. And one.
Southeast have put the cue in the rack tonight.
Just not come out after three-quarter time. That was better basketball, though.
Still 30-point gap.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, if you're Illawarra now, right, like you're finding building blocks for next weekend.
Yeah, I know, but I haven't seen too many of them just yet. Yeah, McGee's coming back in.
Why? All right, what's
Just
the under over on how long he lasts? Does he get through the quarter? It's only 40 seconds.
what's he got? 5 full fouls, so he's got one to give.
Yeah.
That's it. If I was South East Melbourne, I know where I'd be running this play. Straight through
You see him rush down and just foul on the inbound pass like it's 40 seconds to go in the fourth. Game on the line.
He wouldn't even, don't even bother going back to the bench, big fella. Straight back to the showers, early night.
Straight, mate. If he does that, I reckon you go straight to the airport.
Straight to the. Well, that's. I mean, if it would be interesting to see if he does. If he ends up frustrated, whether he decides to hang around. You'd be silly not to.
Yeah. The other WNBL game finished. Flames got a win, mate. That's up and about 85-77. All off the back of a 22-8 second quarter.
Brilliant.
They led 48-30 at half time, and Geelong fought back. The Venom, as they're now called, I think. They've changed their name to the Venom Geelong United this year.
Venom. I mean, what Sydney do have down there with the Hoops Capital sort of banner encompassing both sides is pretty good. So it's good to see the results.
Yeah, I enjoy it. I'll tell you what, you were talking about going to the games before. Even the standalone games, they play at the Key Centre there in the Sydney Olympic Park. They're a good day, good value for money. I know it's not. I don't think it'll be this now, but I reckon maybe 2 or 3 seasons ago it was $80 for a courtside ticket.
That's all right.
I went and watched them play a Wednesday night game against Southside when Lauren Jackson was playing for them. It was like her last season in the WNBL. So yeah, it was. Certainly, I've certainly spent $80 on worse things. I wouldn't care. I wouldn't care to sit here and list all of the worst things that I've spent $80 on because we could be here all night.
Experience courtside in any sort of form is pretty cool.
Yeah, it was actually really cool that night. Actually, that wasn't that night. It was another night I went. I went twice that season with one of my mates. Another time, and we're actually sitting on the baseline, and we're sitting there with Geordie Hunter, Paul Smith, the owner of the Kings, and a bunch of the other players.
Did Paul Smith have one of his famous Hawaiian shirts on? Or?
He did. He also had his custom Sydney Kings colours Nike sneakers.
Oh,
I was a little bit jealous of those, actually. I quite like them. I reckon if I get back to doing some ground or court announcing somewhere and I'm doing a team that I'll invest in something like that because it was a cool look. But it's 3/4 time, 83-52. South East Melbourne have got this one in the bag. They extended out again. They've won all 3 quarters so far. That one, 17-12. It was a bit of a drab affair, that one. I think you used the term before, Cambo. They've half put the queue in the rack, South East Melbourne, and God knows what Illawarra's excuse is.
Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be a pretty quiet locker room for Illawarra come one more quarter.
And still, I know I keep drumming on about this, but 5 assists in 3 quarters of basketball is just 5 assists, 18 turnovers.
But who is driving that car tonight, honestly? Like, Tyler Harvey's the only really established known point guard out there for Illawarra. I mean, there's no Dave O'Hickey, no McLaughlin. Like, they're very light on troops, you could almost say. You could almost use that as an excuse.
Yeah, but unfortunately, fans aren't here for excuses, are they?
No.
Here for results.
Yeah. Or even just the green shoots. You just want to see a few green shoots, don't you? Like,
yeah, mate. There's been very, very, very few of those when you look at it. Like, I think you'd be fair to describe anyone who suggests they're finding some to say that they're clutching at straws, not green shoots.
I think he's got to put Johnny Nark along this last quarter and just let the young fella get some time under his belt. 30 points. You're not crawling back 30 points this last quarter.
Yeah, my only concern is you could be on a hiding to nothing out there, but yeah, I guess what do you got to lose at this point? Even getting some more minutes into Bawali, like.
See, apparently, I didn't get to watch too much of it, but apparently he had a pretty productive summer league game with the Knicks. But over the last few NBL games, I really haven't seen anything from him that suggests that his development's progressed, to be honest.
Yeah, but it's like the Breakers guy who won the MVP of the Blitz and looked like he's going to be a world beater. What's his name? Brockington?
Yeah, Brockington. Yep.
Yeah, again, the old line, one swallow doesn't make a summer, right? But you'd think if you're holding up in summer league that you can have something to carry over, but yeah, I don't know. As we say that he grabs a rebound.
McGee with a
Oh
very
wow,
lucky alley oop.
that was the luckiest alley oop. He cooked that massively, and somehow it still went in for him. So anyway,
I
they
don't
all
know
count
if
the same.
I don't know if Tyler Harvey's got a quota of turnovers he needs to meet, but that alley oop he was looked pretty suspicious.
Well, you know what I love. I was just looking at the stat sheets. South East Melbourne, 17 assists, 5 turnovers. Illawarra, 5 assists, 17 turnovers.
Literally polar opposites.
That just sums up the night, doesn't it? That's why they're losing by 31 points here.
Well, another fun fact on New Zealand's win the other night, they had two turnovers, which I'm pretty sure they said was either the lowest or one of the lowest turnover percentages in NBL history for a game.
Well, they've got a few records lately, haven't they? PJC equal the record, I think, for most assists in a
I did
40-minute
see
game the other
that.
night. Not that game, the
Yeah,
week before, I think.
which is pretty impressive from someone who's like a good ISO scorer like him to be able to distribute and just sort of do what the team needs him to do. Maybe they're a sleeper. Maybe they're going to be slowly moving up our power rankings in the next few weeks.
Well, they moved off the bottom last week, I think. So
Yeah, another win. They could be that potentially that team where at the end of the year we look at the ladder and we go, how'd they get there?
yeah, he put up 20 points, 17 assists, and 6 rebounds. Not a bad night, and that's why the Breakers got 117 points. So
That's why the Breakers tried so desperately hard to get him back this year. Like you can sort of see how much they value him in the building and how much he contributes to the team. He's just a competitor.
yeah, and I think that talks to that point you're just talking about with green shoots, right? Like, I mean, a win here and there is great. Laura obviously got one, and there's McGee gone.
Yeah, off to the showers, big fella. I'd also like to see a bit of game time for Big Harry Frawling there on the bench too, which is a great story. But I don't know why you wouldn't just be turning his legs over right now.
Yeah, well, it's what do you got to lose, right? You lose by 50 instead of 35.
Well, the big fella's actually got a pretty good outside stroke as well. Can hit the three, which Bolden and I mean Bolden used to be able to shoot the three, but Bolden and McGee can't shoot the three. So there's your stretch. Is it like as in if that'd be a handy key to unlock some things, but Tatum's obviously got his own game plan, so we'll let him go.
Just making these blokes suffer through it. So McGee finishes with 22 points, 11 rebounds, and an assist, which sounds great, but yeah,
Tough. It was a tough 22 points, I'd say. It was a pretty physical battle down there.
yeah, he's got 22. Harvey's got 14. No one else has got more than 5. That again sums up what's going wrong with Illawarra, right? So
I think Harvey's points have also been opportunistic. I don't think he's worked too hard for him. I'll give you that tip.
yeah,
I think that's what if anyone gets a chance to watch Bryce Cotton or even on ESPN if they pay close attention to him, one of the things that he does so well is he just works so damn hard for his points. Like he's a freak of nature, but he works his butt off.
yeah, he is, mate. He's got the best motor in the NBL, doesn't he? Just on your man Narkle too. Just having a look. He is not even listed in their 12 tonight.
A DNP, wow.
Yeah, so Froling's had a minute. I haven't even noticed him out there. He must have just been in for a little bit, but
Hey, this has big potential to turn into a 40-point gap here.
what's it
And a
out
bit
to
of
now? Is that
fisticuffs.
35 now? Oh, here we go. Now Tyler Harvey's showing a bit of grunt. Malik Lewis. Greeter's getting in there with his mullet. That'll get the people of Wollongong fired up.
That reminds me of one of the former Sydney Kings. I actually don't know if he's retired or what he's doing now, but do you ever remember Craig Moller,
Yes.
the Rastafarian? Mate, he was the most. You wouldn't have picked him to be an NBL player.
Yeah, dear oh dear, that was. Yeah, he was something, wasn't he?
Wouldn't have looked out of place up in Byron Bay.
He played at Phoenix as well, didn't he?
Yeah, I think so.
Went there
I
after
actually
with
think that
the
he,
long, yeah, the long blonde, like dirty blonde dreads, right?
yeah, I actually don't know if he was one of the couple of NBL players that have actually crossed over to AFL. Actually,
He came from AFL to NBL, I think.
and then there's one that's he did. We use as Fremantle.
Yeah,
I think there's one.
he's a ruckman, wasn't he, back in the day?
Yeah, there's another one playing in the NBL now that's just come back from AFL, isn't there?
Yeah, there's a few that get around. Those development sort of roles, the crossovers. So yeah. So I reckon he played with Phoenix maybe 2 years ago. Was the last we saw of him. I haven't seen him since then, so I don't know what's happened to him. I'd say he's
Yeah, hung up the boots. We've lost a couple of good Aussies the last few years, like the great Clint Steindl hung up the sneakers.
yeah. Apparently I just brought him up. He's apparently later spotted playing for a team called Keflavik in Iceland,
Oh, geez, yeah,
and
right.
he's also in the last season was over in the New Zealand NBL playing for Taranaki.
There you go.
But he can play over in Europe because he's got German heritage as well, so he's got the Euro passport, which helps. But yeah, Sydney
It's like I'm
boy from the Shire.
waiting for the great New Zealand man Tom Vodanovic to pop up somewhere too. Tommy Vod usually pops up in an NBL side somewhere when they're struggling for depth.
He actually won a championship with Melbourne United in 2018. Moller.
Geez, that would have been nearly the Castlewear era.
Yeah, be close to.
There is a bit of NBL trivia I have for you. I saw the NBL, I think it was like a Fox Sports Australia article where they were suggesting that potentially for one of the teams that a former NBL player import from 2016 may be on the radars of some teams. I wonder if we could figure that one
2016.
out.
Well, let's come back to that
2016.
because so the grand final series in this 2018 year was Melbourne United versus Adelaide. There's a player that's out there tonight in this game that was playing for Adelaide. Can you tell me who it was?
It would have been the great Nathan Sobey, surely.
It was Mitch Creek, Nathan Sobey, Ramon Moore, Shannon Shorter, all starting. Majok Dang was on the bench for Adelaide. But the starting five for Melbourne United: Chris Goulding, Ty Wesley, Casey Prather, Casper Ware, and Josh Boone.
Oh, that is that is some side. That was a good side.
And Pete Hooley was on the bench as well. He's on commentary tonight, I think.
The great Pete Dooley.
6 points. And there's a man that's playing for Cairns that was on the bench as well, the great Kyle Adnam. He's been everywhere, Kyle Adnam.
Kyle Adnam. Pretty sure he did a stint at Sydney while Kyle.
Yeah, he's done Melbourne, Sydney, South East Melbourne, Illawarra, and Cairns. He's a man that likes to get around the NBL one.
You throw it back to that Adelaide side, mate. Two of the better Aussie boys on that roster too. You in your Sobey and Mitch Creek. Got to be nice to see Mitch Creek back in the league.
It would. Just quietly, we've got about 2 and a bit minutes without any points here. Like, what is happening? This is just
I
turning into
feel.
an absolute shit show.
Oh,
And now we've got Paul Bales trying to throw bombs. Oh, Bolden, what are you doing?
it's
Look,
proper. It's proper go.
I'll tell you what, if I was Geordie Hunter, I wouldn't have taken his hand. That was just a poor act. Like, he's just crashed over the back. He didn't even really try. And I know he got some hand on hand, but yeah.
We're in proper garbage time. I don't even know why South East Melbourne are keeping their starters in, to be honest.
Mate, if Tatum wants to talk about blokes doing the wrong thing, and not like there's a great clip just to show him back and just be like, mate, what you got no leg to stand on. Your boys are doing this.
Well, maybe that's the problem. Maybe it's the culture.
Oh, dear. Tyler Harvey looks sad.
Big Frawley in now, and look, the Ginger Ninja's about to roll back into the game.
Jeez, he went quiet after that first quarter, didn't he? The second quarter, sorry.
Well, you're up, you're up by 30. You can treat yourself to a bit of peace and quiet.
Mate, see, that's my coaching style would have been just go out there and see how long you can ride this hot streak for, sunshine.
Yeah, no, he's back.
What's his numbers? He was 8 from 9. Has he had a shot since then?
But he's stayed in the system. See, Sobe's
Well, there you go. To be
Sobe's in
fair,
the system.
just back on that. Sorry, 8 from 9. He's now 9 from 14. That's probably why he's been quiet. Speaking of Sobe, there he goes.
Yeah,
You were
Sobe's
saying?
usually a high volume shooter and stuff, and it just looks like everyone in the South East Melbourne side's buying into their role.
He's up to 21, Sobe. That's a sneaky 21, isn't it?
If you've got the stats there, it'd be an efficient 21, wouldn't it?
Would be, yeah. He's 7 from 18.
Oh
1 from
yeah,
6
yeah.
outside. The arc's hurt him. So that means he's shooting at 50% inside, which is where his money is, right? So 6 from 7 free throws as well. 5 rebounds, 4 steals. Some good numbers.
I actually just only noticed that. I totally forgot about it. The South East Melbourne just signed an import that had I can't for the life of me remember his name. I think it was, but from the NBA, and he's not suited up tonight as well. So he's
Yeah, I
still
was
got to come
hoping that
back
we'd
into the
see him
side too.
tonight. What's his name? I'll pull that up.
Is it David Awandu? I know there's an I and a W somewhere.
Where's a one do?
Where's Awandu? Yeah.
Yeah. And that margin, you tipped it before. You said it might get out past 40. It has done.
With 4 minutes remaining.
Yeah, it could get to 50 yet. So, yeah, where's a one do? I think last played with maybe Atlanta. And then he's been sort of playing the lower tiers and then was over in Greece and Germany.
It's a good pedigree coming out of the Euro League, so we'll see how he goes.
33rd pick overall in 2017 by Orlando.
Gives me Schofield vibes, similar players, but whether we can get Schofield production out of him. But poor old Admiral's been a bit quiet, I think.
Yeah, we saw some moments from him tonight, but unfortunately, they're just moments. They're in a bit of drama.
I feel
Andrew
like
Andrews is having a few tantrums.
well, yeah, I watched a bit of obviously the Bryce Cotton 50, and I mean you can't contain Bryce, but yeah, it did look like Andrew Andrews was a bit off the pace, to be honest. A few of the Bryce shots, he wasn't quick enough, or he wasn't rotating on his switches enough. So I don't know. Maybe he's not quite what they need, or maybe it was just the magic of Bryce Cotton that made him look a bit silly. But going forward, it'd be interesting to see what 40 does.
He's certainly not on a short list of names if he's been made look silly by Bryce Cotton.
Well, technically, he'd only be on a short list of first names, being Andrew Andrews. So
Yeah, well, he'd be right at the top, whether it's sorted by first or last. So there's
the
the ton, there's the
aardvark.
ton for South East.
We call him the aardvark.
Yeah, I like that. I do like that. Right. So biggest winning margins this year, Cambo. What do you reckon?
Which teams?
Yeah, I'm just going back to the start of the season. Where are we? Is that pre-season? That's pre-season. Let's move down from there. Let's. There you go. Still blitz. Just trying to find the top of the scores. So that's round one. There we go.
So you've also got poor old Cairns with Jack McVeigh now injured too.
Yeah, I mentioned that earlier. So we've had a couple of 30-point wins. Melbourne United beat New Zealand by 32. South East beat Cairns by 37 earlier in the year, 114 to 77. That's their biggest win, so 37. What's that one? 31. Adelaide beat Cairns. Cairns went on the back of a few of these. 37, that's 29. I think 37 might be the mark to beat. Yeah. 37's the number to beat. I'd be more surprised if they don't.
Four more points
46.
and we're what's the margin? 50. I think we're going to smoke it, to be honest.
Mercy rule?
You'd be hoping so, wouldn't you? You'd just be telling Justin Tatum, no more timeouts, mate. Let's just run this down.
Yeah, dear. I'll tell you what, too. Have you had a look at these Indigenous kits for the NBL as well, mate? I love that we recognise, obviously, Indigenous involvement. Like, we're both pretty right in our rugby league as well. They do a great job of celebrating, as do the AFL, but basketball are doing a wonderful job these days. Like, some of the kits that they've had over recent years are pretty good, but there's some really good ones. Oh, I saw Adelaide's one. There's a lot going on there.
Yes, I don't. So the only trouble with Adelaide this year is I just don't know about the Mega Rewards, the sponsorship logo.
Yeah, that's
really just.
especially if you look into who Mega Rewards are. We were talking about this with another podcast to do some work with, where because they've sponsored Adelaide United in the soccer, and yeah, Mega Rewards, interesting company. Yeah, anyway, I'm not going to go into it while we're on here, but yeah, it's an interesting one. Brisbane's is nice. I like that. The Meanjin, the yellow circle in the centre. Cairns, interesting. It's a blue focus, which is different. Illawarra's is nice, fairly traditional, nothing too outrageous. Really nice patterning, keeping the black and red. A little bit of purple and pink thrown in there as well. Melbourne United's nice and simple, keeping those blue themes as well. Nice. A wedge-tailed eagle on there. I like that. Bungee. New Zealand, they got the tribal patterns with the black with the blue tones, which is nice.
Yeah, very, very clean New Zealand.
Perth, I like Perth's. Perth have done well with jerseys this year.
Yeah, they have. And Tassie's. Tassie's is a pretty clean jersey as well.
South East, nice and clean as well. Just some strong Indigenous patterning, recognising Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders. You can jump onto the NBL website. They've got a whole rundown on all of them as well, who's done them. Kings as well, they've just kept with the predominantly yellow away kit sort of thing with some purple strips with some yellow tones on the side. That's nice. Yeah, the Tassie one is good. I like that with the Indigenous painted map of Tassie and Lutruwita. I'll probably pronounce that wrong, but that's the Indigenous word for Tasmania in the Palawa tribe. And then the referees as well. Again, nice, just simple decal on there, some side patterning.
Yeah, I think some of the sponsors just let them down a bit. I think just doesn't quite suit the decor.
Yeah, most of them seem to work okay, but yeah, I like the ones where like Perth, they're like made to just they're allowed to blend in and stuff like that. I like it. I think the best of those I've seen in any sport was with the Bulldogs issue when they did their heritage jersey in the NRL, and Laundy matched the old Hyundai font that they used to have in the 90s on the centre of their jerseys.
Yeah, that's knowing your market, knowing what your fans want and need, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's just a pity the Dogs couldn't recreate the format back then too.
Yeah, I mean, what was that 95, 30 years ago? Feels like a lifetime. And we could recreate some 1994 form. That'd suit me nicely. Raiders grand final win.
So there's no point in crying over spilt milk. You'll get there one day.
It's funny, man. No points for originality, Cambo.
That's all right, mate. I'm not going to talk about the Newcastle Knights. We'll leave that topic.
Yeah, Holbrook's the man. All right, 3 minutes on the clock. How much can they blow this out by? Can they get the half ton? Oh, Maldonado. Like, that looked pretty, but didn't count for anything.
There we go. There's an N1.
The Hawks have got 18, make that 19 field goals. Yeah, dear.
I don't even know if tonight's one of those nights where you can turn around and go, righto, boys, let's just flush it, because I think you've got some lessons to learn here.
Yeah, I think you go back. They'll probably fly back tomorrow, unpack it, maybe tomorrow evening, tomorrow arvo. Have Tuesday off, and we come back in Wednesday clean. I think it's about the best option. You got to just take a couple of things from it, right? But you can't sit on it for too long.
But judging by how angry Tatum is, I wouldn't be surprised if he's getting the team gear Stewart to go get him Opal cards and make him catch a train back up to Sydney, maybe.
Yeah, that'll drag him, just sitting him in the change room and going back through the game now.
Righto, boys, it's up to you. Up to you to get your way back.
That was filthy. That was.
Oh,
Who hit that?
Bit like that mullet.
Who hit that 3-pointer?
Was it Maldonado?
It wasn't. It was.
Oh, he's been fouled on a 3 here.
It was DJ.
Not exactly what you need.
DJ going for back-to-back from way deep. Hit that last one from 1.5 meters outside. He thought I'd go for one 2 meters out. Who's fouling a bloke shooting it for a 3 2 meters out when you're 44 behind? Just. All I can see when I'm looking at what's his name? I'm having a mental blank now from Illawarra. Greeter is that winning time, the actor that plays Pat Riley.
Yeah.
They just have a look at the side profile, the beak on him. It just looks the same on the 11 for Illawarra.
He looks like he should be featuring somewhere in the Triple J Hottest 100 with that mullet, to be honest.
Yeah, he does look like he'd be, not a support act for the Hilltop Hoods, doesn't he?
Dan Greeter and the Burger Flippers or something. He'd be a band somewhere that suits him.
The Dan Greeter trio. He's just the new John Butler.
It's just him.
What do you got here? We're working out. Something's happened. Confusion reigns.
It should be a rule when you're down by 44, there are no challenges.
Surely it's not a challenge. Because now it's going to the benches. There's just some clarification, I think. Maybe the time or something. Let's be honest, it doesn't matter. Just take an extra 15 seconds off the clock.
Unfortunately, I get that the NBL can't afford not to have it, but it'd be nice if the NBL took a leaf out of the NBA's book and the sponsors were just a small logo up in the corner instead of the print.
Yeah. Doesn't really faze me that much, but now they're going for it, Illawarra.
They've just thought, you know what?
Everyone's trying something here. DJ just. I thought he was just going to reverse out ears.
Oh, there we go.
That's some unaware basketball there by Froling. He got lucky. Oh, he didn't get lucky.
No.
Oh, jeez, that's tough. I thought Ali got the last touch on this. Let's have a look at the. Yeah, he's pushed it out of his hand. Oh no, fingertip back on it. That's just salt in the wound, isn't it?
This could sort of go on 115, 65, 50 points. Big margin.
Yeah, if they get there, they got to get there first. 45 at the moment.
On the line for 2 now. Well, fair to say, probably by half time they still had hope, but it's nearly all over at half time.
We did say that. I mean, you see things come back, but the good news is it won't be the biggest loss ever. The record is 88 points in the NBL.
Well, that's something, isn't it?
Yeah, so And they're also well clear of the 10 fewest points in the game. 55 is 10th. 40 is the lowest point score in a game.
Tell you what, you'd settle for getting beaten by a 52-point game for Bryce and being beaten by a complete team by 50, wouldn't you?
Yeah, well, that's it. Just looking at some other random stats as I'm scrolling through some of the records. Most 40-plus point games in your career. 101, Andrew Gaze. Next, 23, Leroy Lockins. That's some gap.
Wow. To be honest, I thought Bryce would be up there by now.
Yeah, I don't think so. I reckon he'd probably be in double digits, maybe. I don't know how up to date this record is, but he's not showing like he's not even in the top 9, which goes to 12.
Or yeah, you probably have a look at the next record down of most 30-point games, and he's probably top that.
No, I'm pretty confident he hasn't topped that either because they reeled that number off earlier in the broadcast, and he had 40 something. And what's his name? That does the broadcast, the ex player. Think of him in a minute, but yeah, he had 80 something. So, and I'm pretty sure Gazy, if he's got 101 40 plus, I'd hate to see how many 30 plus he's got.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so the largest margin was the North Melbourne in 1984 beat Sydney by 88.
Wow.
But again, as I mentioned, for the Newcastle Falcons, the third longest losing streak.
So, was that just before we went to the Singapore Slingers? Or?
No, it was back in 1990. They lost 20 in a row, and then in 1991 they lost 15 in a row. But Hunter did lose 15 in 2004, so 3 times in the top 10. That's not looking good.
At least if our older generation of Newcastle fans, we've come through that, and now we get to enjoy some wooden spoons with the Knights. So Hunter's copped a bit of a drizzling.
Yeah, well, we'll see. What about this? One player in the history of the NBL has scored a quadruple double.
Who's that?
Darren Rowe in 1990 for Geelong, 25 points, 17 rebounds, 11 assists, and 11 blocks. That's a day out. That is a day out.
That sounds like a big man.
Mate, they are. Airballs.
Tell you what, this last minute, whatever, has been the hardest NBL I've ever had to watch.
It's a big statement. It's a bunch of depth players just trying to throw bombs.
Just getting their own rebounds.
Just doing their worst. Oh, that's an open three, and he's missed it. Wasn't anyone within 3 meters of him. Oh, no. The Pat Riley lookalike's gone down injured, Greeter. Oh, he's been absolutely hammered with the block. It's done his shoulder. Not that there's much of a shoulder on him, but he copped a check, didn't he?
Do South East Melbourne take the they definitely do try to put points on the board here this last bit.
Sure, I just run the clock down. Big Froling gets 2.
Well, I have heard this. Well, I have heard this before. Is that in the NBL? There we go. With the points differential, it's a bit different to the NBA. Whereas the NBA, you have the gentleman's agreement of not shooting or whatever. A great shot from Harry Frawley. Where's that been?
Oh, the little faint fake 3. Did it count?
Yeah, it's an N1, so 4 points.
There you go. He might ruin your 40 points here. No, not quite. He's going to hit it bang on.
Jason Taylor's just asking Josh King, how do I bounce back from this?
Have you got is there any openings as an assistant on your roster?
What's the coffee like in Melbourne?
Froling's gone late with. What's he end up with? He's nearly hit double digits, hasn't he? Oh, he's found the rim there. That's not bad. Well, that's it. 40 points in the end, which probably flatters Illawarra. 116 to 76, Cambo. Can you find anything positive outside of Harry Froling's last 40 seconds?
I'm struggling.
No,
My positive is a negative. You can't like this has to be
it's rock
close to
bottom.
the bottom of the it's the bottom of the barrel. So for Illawarra fans, it's probably hopefully as bad as it's going to get.
All right. Well, let's take a run through the scores quickly before we wrap up. McGee led the way for Illawarra, 22 points, 11 rebounds, 1 assist. Tyler Harvey next best, 14 points. Ended up with 3 assists, which wasn't too bad. No rebounds from Harvey, not surprising. And then Froling got a double digits late, 11 points. Shot at 100% from the 3 points, 100% from 2 points, 100% from the field, sorry, just 2 3-pointers and 5 from 5 from the line. So, big man, get him some more minutes.
Well, yeah, like I said, he can shoot. He can stretch the floor. You know, whether he could have been a factor earlier on, I couldn't say, but it's there. And then the fact poor old Johnny Narkle didn't even get in the rotation today was a bit. That those minutes in this garbage time he definitely could have used, but
He only run 12 though, so it is what it is, I suppose. Looking at South East, we'll start with Glover, 26 points, 2 rebounds. Then we've got Sobey, 21 points, 3 assists, 5 rebounds. John Brown got the double digits, 11 points and 3 rebounds. And Hunter Maldonado, 13 points, 9 assists, and 6 rebounds. That's some good numbers from Maldonado coming off the pine. He's been good this year. I've liked what I've seen from him.
just everyone's just doing their role, really. It seems like Josh King's just got them clicking.
Yeah, exactly right. Well, it's certainly interesting, but it bodes well for South East Melbourne. The biggest challenge I've got, South East Melbourne, their best and their worst, there's a bit of a gap between, unfortunately. So we need to see a bit more of their best. And if we keep seeing their best, like what we saw tonight and what we've seen at other times this year against some of the lower teams, they're definitely a playoff team or a high play-in team. So we'll see how they play. But they sit third now on the ladder behind Melbourne and Adelaide. And yeah, as you said, their differential now is nice and juicy for them. Their points percentage
We've
up
got
to 110%.
big Wes to come into, like we said before. So
Yeah, correct. So interesting though. Like if I'm Josh King after that game, I'm probably not in a rush for him to come in.
no, you have the what do you call it? Yeah, the advantage of you just trickle him in off the bench, really.
Yeah, exactly right. But all right, Cambo. Well, tomorrow, mate. Let's get your thoughts quickly before we wrap up. Melbourne United up against the Breakers. Are the Breakers any chance here at John Cain?
I can't see it. I honestly can't see it unless Melbourne hit a bit of complacency, but we'll see. Or if Milton Doyle decides it's not one of his games, but I'm going to go Melbourne I'm going to say Melbourne by 15. I mean, you've still got CG43 who's been ticking away, so yeah, I'm going to say Melbourne by about 15.
It's a deep roster. So Melbourne. Then they go up to Cairns. So I'll head into that as favourites. So they could be heading into that top of the table clash 8-0, 9-0. They're 6-0 now, so it'll be 8-0. And then the final game, Sydney, Perth. As I said, this one, agencies, the bookies have got Sydney about $1.30, $1.38, $1.40 favourites. Mate, I'm a Kings fan, and I'm tempted to have a sneaky lobster on the Wildcats.
I just don't think that. I don't know. JLA is really good, and I don't know. The Kings are great defensively. Don't get me wrong, but they just can't score points. Really, like they just. I'm going to go.
Look, I think the Kings win it, but I just don't think that it's a greater than a less than 1 in 3 chance. Like, mate, if they play 10 games, I think Perth are winning probably 3 of them or 4 of them. Like probably 4 of them. Like I think like it's not much more than a flip. Like Sydney are slight favourites, maybe 3 or 4 point favourites, not significant favourites at $3. It suggests to me.
I think Perth win if Dylan Windler goes off for 20 points plus.
Yeah, well, it's gonna be
JLA
interesting.
does his things, and it'll be whoever the second player out of both sides. I don't know who, if one of the Kings fires, whether someone else goes with them. But if Perth can get decent contributions out of JLA and Dylan Windler, I think they'll be in a good spot.
Well, it's a big game. It's 4th plays 6. If the Wildcats win, they'll go up to 3rd and they'll sit 4-2. If the Kings win, they'll go to 50% on the year, which, considering the disjointed start of the year we've seen from them would be huge, because that'd also lift them up in front of. No, we need to just leave them just behind the Jackie, so they'd hold 6th spot and stay in that play-in spot. So crucial game for both sides. But until next time we're back, and as I said, Campbell, we'll have the power rings once the round wraps up. But mate, thank you to you. Always good to sit here and catch some basketball. And mate, it was the Angus Glover show. He's my man of the moment for tonight. That 3-point shooting in that second quarter was just absolutely lights out.
Yeah, I'll agree with you. Yeah, I think he's there, and probably Maldonado's a second by some way.
Until next time, a big thank you for tuning in to the Chris McPherson Show and our watch along of the South East Melbourne Phoenix winning by 40, 116-76 over the Illawarra Hawks. If you haven't already, hit subscribe down below and hit the bell. You'll get some notifications around when each and every of our videos, as well as our live streams, are coming up. We appreciate you tuning in, and we'll talk to you again soon.